Welcome back to AJ's World of Bodybuilding. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching part 1 of the Brandon Curry interview. And now we have part 2 of the exclusive interview with Brandon Curry. Sit back and I hope you will enjoy. Did like Nick Walker and Hunter Lebron, and did you notice anything on stage that they felt like, hey, look at us, or are you just friendly?
No. I was the OG there. So, all those guys that were new to the experience, because, of course, they hadn't had Pittsburgh, and I think it was a year off, maybe 2 years off, I guess. And so they didn't really know the process, the protocol. So I was kind of there to just kind of guide them through the proper way of doing it, what we're used to doing when we're on that stage. So I was just kind of leading them through. Good camaraderie. I got good relationships with all those guys. I got respect for them as athletes, and those guys motivate me tremendously with their hard work and their hunger. So for me, it's no bad blood in between any of us. No. And then seeing DereK, DereK was the most impressive, I believe, that day. Just nobody's expecting DereK to look like that. So, I think DereK weeks prior to some other events. So I pretty much knew what to expect, what he was looking like. I actually trained with him, I think it was 2 weeks before that in St. Louis. So, I talked to him a lot. I knew some of the transitions he was making. I knew he was in a good headspace. So I knew he was going to come and impress a lot of people. But I'm happy for him because, he's been struggling, man. He's been struggling. And, he finally got some gratification last year winning that title. But just trying to find his place in the sport and trying to get that in that rhythm. I think he's in a good space right now with Honey. Talked to Honey about him mentally. He's in a good space. They saw some issues that he had. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy to see that progress. It's exciting for the sport, and it's good for the fans. So, I was impressed. I was impressed with seeing him disrobe, and I was pretty much expecting from seeing him previous weeks and see what he's been working on. He had more issue, but he's basically dieting at that point because Hani doesn't want him to get too heavy, get out of range for the 212. So he's been very, 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 very strict on what he's been able to consume, and he hadn't been able to kind of enjoy himself on some of the trips we've been on. So I know he's been working hard to kind of stay in that range, and Hani's just trying to keep that 3D look on him. Mm-hmm. I know that's been a challenge. Even last year, he still didn't quite. He won, but he still didn't quite bring that 3D that he has off season. So they're trying to capitalize and bring him in that 3D look coming into this Olympia. I know.
What would you quick that before we go to something else there? What do you think would be the best option for DereK Lundsford? Because what would be the best option for him? And you got to remember, a lot of people are writing, saying if DereK Lundsford does the 212, it's an easy win. But Sean Clarida, many people even had him winning last year, and he won the year before, Sean Clarida. And I don't know if you know Clarida personally, but he's one of the hardest workers I've ever seen in the gym. And he's like, what do you think Clarida's listening to all this easy win for Lonsford, and Lonsford is walking around chilling and I'm the champ, and how do you see this Clarida Lonsford? And remember, Clarida can go to the Open also because he's qualified for both. He has to choose. What would your advice be for those guys there?
Well, as far as what Lonsford should do, it's going to depend on where his head is at. Because that's the main factor. Because coming into the final stages at prep, if he has too much pressure on him or whatnot, he all fall apart. I'm sure we've kind of experienced that from the background, sitting in the back, trying to kind of viewing him coming in. We know that he's kind of falling apart at the end. So it's all about the mental state. So if he's confident in whatever class, whatever he's choosing to do, I think that would be the best decision for him. And right now he is the champ of the 212 class. And I know that's going to come with a lot of confidence. So for me, that seems like a clear thing than jumping into new territory, unless it's about the money. And if it's about the money, he can have different objectives. And going to the Open will be more lucrative, of course. But like I said, is he going to have the confidence to perform at his best with that extra pressure? As far as Sean, man, Sean is never going to be an easy competitor, man. He's definitely a warrior. He's definitely always been in an underdog position, so he's always going to have that fight and that tenacity. And he has a new factor that is either going to motivate him or complicate his life. He has a baby on the way, so that's either gonna make him even more of a beast, or they're gonna complicate him a little bit, depending on how he responds to that situation and how that pregnancy is going. And I think the baby's due around December,
Yeah.
which is another factor. So there's a lot of factors that come into play, but I know Sean in this traditional headspace is not going to go down lightly. He's going to show that tenacity, and he's gonna come in, vouching to give him no excuses not to give him that title back. So DereK is not going to have an easy route either way it goes with whether he jumps in the open or whether he's going to battle against Sean and whoever else is going to show up in the 212, because there's still some question marks there. That class is still kind of developing, and we've seen two transitions of the title the past few years. So it's still no Flex Lewis there to establish the crown king yet. So anything can happen, right?
Well, we remember when Bob Chick dissed you hard and said, "Are you going to do the 212?" Remember that? I did not like that. I did not like that at all. There's a big difference in respect if you're 212 or the open, Brandon. It's a big difference here.
Brandon, there's a lot of talk, a lot of scuttlebutt online over this past year. As we've seen you up and we've seen you down. Like you say, it's a different deal. Pretty much every show, very difficult to dial that in. But there's a lot of talk out there that perhaps you should think about the 212 division. Now, for the record, you're not anywhere close to 212, are you?
Well, I think, Bob, you're right. I think I may try 212, throwing it in here for a little while. I may go there. We'll see. I'll think about it.
So you're not as far off as we thought, though.
Oh, no. I learned how to suffer this year, so I figure, if I can suffer all the way down there, I may be able to push it out that far. You never know.
Well, that'll be interesting, D. Yeah. When's the last time you saw 212? Is it 8th grade?
I don't even remember.
You know what? I didn't like it at the time, but I go back and I thank Bob for that. I needed that at that time. That's what I needed. I needed to hear something like that. Wake my butt up, get me in the right headspace. So, it may have not been for my good, but it was for my good. You know what I'm saying?
For the future of bodybuilding, Brandon, right now, we've lost a lot of big names, and also a lot of names that we don't know. With Cedric, Sean Roden, George Peterson. We had a female who passed away in Spain at the show last year. A lot of other stories in the dark that we don't even talk about. And you see this huge emergence now. I don't know how it's in America, but in Europe, all the young men are doing men's physique and some are doing classic. There's a lot of great young guys also in bodybuilding now. Well, not in their 30s, who's doing really well. But in the next 10 years, Brandon, all the young kids now are doing men's physique in classic. What's going on? Are the people scared of the health thing? Is that a factor? Is this just how society is? Or what's your opinion?
It's an opportunity to step into the sport and get your feet wet. It's the easiest transition. If I had it back in the day, maybe I would have considered it as well. So people don't have to feel rushed. They can test the water. They can push their physique at the pace that they want to. But eventually, some of those bodies, like I've seen, and I've talked to guys currently. I'm like, I don't know how you're gonna stay your butt in this class. I just don't know how. You're at the limit. It ain't no way. And you beating good. You're almost at the top. So some of these guys, no matter what they do, it's gonna be hell trying to stay in these classes. So they have no choice but to move into a class where they can be more competitive and their body can actually continue to develop. So it's just a process right now because it's so new. It's an option, but eventually, a lot of these guys with these classic physiques and these physiques, eventually, if some of those guys are going to end up competing in bodybuilding because it's kind of like the women's side. You know what I'm saying? The women's side was kind of the same. You know, the women, you know, they were just kept getting bigger and bigger. You know, not because they wanted more size, just because it was just competitive. And they were like, "Oh, girls, we got to downsize you. You got to bring you down." And then they still kept getting bigger. Even though some girls downsized, but some girls still got bigger and got rewarded for it. So it's just a part of the sport. I mean, you training hard, you love to train. You know, you're gonna get those results in the gym, and you know, it's demotivating to just diet them all off just to make a class and maybe not look at your best. So eventually, you know, run into this hard place where these classes are really, really popular, but eventually they're gonna spill themselves over right into bodybuilding.
Yeah. We are going for the double for the second time. The double for the second time. Never been done in bodybuilding before. Winning the Arnold Classic twice and the winning the Arnold Classic and the Olympia twice. Right now you're at the level of what can you say? The Kevin Levrone and the short race, you know, but you have an Olympia that they don't have. If you make this record, it sets you apart from all the other ones. Is this an extra motivation now, Brandon? It's like, because this is truly from Bob Chick asked you, can you do the 212, who was very insulting to us. Like, it was very insulting. Doing something that's no one's, all the guys who were talking, I remember on the Value Entertainment and all, Brandon couldn't done this. They haven't done what you've done. Even though they're legends, haven't done what you've done. Is it extra motivating? Or is Radley the motivating factor? What's the most motivating of those two?
No. You know, that's definitely the most motivating factor is the ability to do something that hasn't been done. Definitely, you know, I've been put in a position with the opportunity to. And it's something that once we saw the opportunity, just like 2019, it was like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. You know, this is what we're gonna set our sights on for this year. So here we are with another opportunity to make some history, to win both shows in the same year twice, and be the first guy who's done that twice. I mean, it just sounds good. It sounds good. It sounds like I'm being put in position just to do it. And I seize the day, man. Seize the moment. Seize the opportunity. Might as well go for it. You know, why not? There's a lot of guys in this sport. A lot of men I respect coming up, looking up to, seeing them do great feats. Seeing you know, Flex Wheeler win the Arnold multiple times. Seeing Dexter Jackson break that record. You know, just different feats. Seeing Jay the title, gain it back, you know, all those things, being able to witness those things, and then being in the position to do something that none of those guys ever done. That's just a blessing. I'm even in the position to, and I'm honored, and I owe it to the fans, and I owe it to those before me to just, you know, give my best effort and try to accomplish it.
Quick there, who is the biggest legend, Sean Ray or Kevin Levrone?
Oh my goodness, man.
And you respect both athletes, but if you're just gonna choose one,
how do you?
That's why I'm asking.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm trying to process. How I would separate them as far as their performance. I mean, it's like, okay, we know Sean Ray was a runner-up. You know, Kevin was a runner-up. We know their careers. You know, okay, Kevin made the comeback. He had Sean back on that, right? Kevin had, you know, okay, they both at one time Kevin probably competed more, but he did do the one show a year thing like Sean Ray as well when he had that ability, making those incredible you know, going from a normal human being to a master bodybuilder in, like, you know, no time flat. So he's done some incredible feat. I mean, both of these guys are legends. But how do you separate them based on, I guess, who won the most shows?
Kevin Levrone, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe Kevin won the most shows. So being that they've both been Olympia runner-ups, they both battled Dorian. Kevin would have edge him out because he won the most shows.
Last legend question. Dexter Jackson or Jay Cutler?
Woo!
I know.
Man, that's gonna be the disputable question answer every time. Because we got the most winningest bodybuilder of all time.
But Jay went up against Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah, Jay went up against Ronnie Coleman, true. But Dexter was on that same stage. And man, who did it longer? Dexter. Who
Who looked
lost the
best in
title?
their peak?
Ooh, that's hard because Dexter was Mr. Consistency. It's gonna depend on if you like oranges, if you like apples with that question. Both of them got my respect. As far as who had the best career, if I judged it by the first thing I judged, then it would be the most wins. And Dexter got that all day.
Wow. Yeah.
But you can't. I mean, that's just being consistent with how I judge the other two, right? But just you can't take away the accomplishments and the impact that Jay has had on the sport of bodybuilding by any means. I mean, if I didn't see Jay beat Ronnie, I don't know if I'd ever be a bodybuilder. Had that moment to where I said I want to be on that stage. So both of these guys have made significant impacts in my life as far as my career in bodybuilding as well. As far as me coming up, not Jay, but Dexter gave me a hard time. He was an asshole to me, but it motivated me.
Dexter.
Yeah, it motivated me, man. It motivated me to all get out because he's so competitive, and I didn't understand it. I didn't know why he was like that, but I needed it. You know what I'm saying? Because I spent most of my career chasing Dexter, trying to beat Dexter. We became friends, and I understood that. I understood that competitive nature. I understood that psychology. You know what I'm saying? And it was good for me. So he made an impact. And once I got to know him like personally, I was like, oh, this dude's the truth. So Jay, man, he's just been a perfect example. Man, one of those guys that gives of himself, always humble, no matter what his accomplishments are. And just one of those examples in business, one of those examples in just how to handle yourself with the fans and the public. So I watched both of those guys, and I've studied the things that they do. So for me, honestly, it's a tie. But if
you have to choose one, who is going to be, Jay or Dexter?
If I'm consistent, like I said, if I'm consistent with how I judged the previous two, or who won the most shows because they were so close, then I would have to get that to Dexter because that's just consistency. But it's still a hard decision to make for me.
I got a question there from Lasse Telsnes. He's from Norway, one of our classical champions here. He says, Brandon, I love your physique. It's so beautiful aesthetics. How long will you compete no matter what the outcome of this year? Thinking about Dexter, who was doing it to 50. How long do you see yourself competing? No matter the outcome of this year. It doesn't really matter.
There's a saying that that I always have to think about when I think about stuff like that. And that's yesterday doesn't exist, and neither does tomorrow. So at this point, I'm in the moment. And as long as I enjoy competing, it's competitive and ain't nothing else pulling me away from the sport of bodybuilding, I'll compete. But life is ever changing, transitioning, and developing, and my kids themselves are getting more active and getting more involved in other things. And eventually I want to be a fan. I just don't want to be a bodybuilder. I want to be a fan of my kids and enjoy, what they're doing with the fruits of their labor. So eventually I'm gonna have to make more time for that. And that means sacrificing bodybuilding. But I never want to be a slave to the sport. You know what I'm saying? Competing because I have to. So I'm always ready to transition away from the sport. But as long as I'm enjoying it, I don't see a reason to.
So before we're going to look at that video and end it, you're going to Kuwait, 270, your biggest weight, showing up there. You're going to stay there for the longest amount of time you ever done, from August all the way. You're not coming home, correct?
Hey, that's well, we put it this way. That's not the longest amount of time I've ever been there. But probably in recent years, yes. Because those developmental years, I spent quite a bit of time in different segments in Kuwait. Maybe I split up the time, but it ended up being longer. But in recent years, this would be one of the longer preps for sure.
And then you're gonna get even bigger before you start the contest diet, correct? Over there.
I mean, man, even if I do a 10-week prep, we getting bigger. So it's just a part of the process.
Is Abdullah hungry for this victory?
Abdullah's always hungry to win, you know. He's always hungry to win. So that's not a question, you know. I know a lot of people say, you know, he's retiring. Yeah, he's retired. He's retired from bodybuilding, but he still works with me.
Yeah, I know. He said he says, yes, I'm retiring, brother. I'm retired. They don't want. I'm not going to say to the left next there, but he say, brother, no, retired only. But as soon as you're back there, it's on game time again, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are we going to see videos on your chat? People are worried about videos and content and all this. And as when you have 10, as they say, a lot of kids, a lot of opportune things to do here in America. Okay, but when you go there, will you release training videos on your channel, the Brandon Curry All Access channel?
It's going to really depend. It's going to depend on the team's decision on what we want to put out there before the show. I've been advised on some things here recently. We'll see what that looks like when I get there. But I also have some new relationships that may require me to do certain things. So we'll get as much out that we can. We've also advised to, if you don't see everything during the process immediately, you'll definitely see some of the collection of the content post the process. So either way, you'll get some of the inside look, but we'll determine when, as far as, you know, how everybody's comfortable what we're doing as far as a team. I'll make it a team decision because we have different agendas, different things we want to get out there, different strategies. So it's not all up to me. If it's up to me, I don't care. I'll give you everything I got. But as far as the team is concerned, we'll help them make decisions of what needs to be out there, what doesn't need to be out there. And
you got incredible video guy, the guy who's working with this the bag. So what do you call it?
Chase. Soul Premise.
Yeah.
That's Chase.
Oof. This is some content. This is get you when you watch those videos. Do you get pumped up yourself?
Yeah, Chase is a great talent. Chase we got good chemistry. He has good chemistry with my wife. He's just a vital part of the team, and they get the vibe and bringing ideas together. And he did my music for the Arnold last minute.
What a fun! Everyone is stealing that theme song. Have you noticed it?
Yeah. Of course, man. Everybody steals whatever I do. I'm used to it, man. That's what I'm supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. It's flattery. Take it.
Theo, the French sensation, stole the song 3 times now, won every posting award with it. But yeah.
Hey, more power to him, man. That's what I'm talking about, man.
And I also saw another guy calling himself the Prodigy. They're stealing a lot lately, aren't they?
Hey, they can steal it, man. That's flattery, man.
Come on, you can't be the Prodigy. There's a new, we won't go into who it is, but there's even a new guy calling himself the Prodigy, and he hasn't even, you got to make it to the Olympia first to call yourself a Prodigy while you're still active, don't you?
No. The name, the actual, I got the name before I made it to the Olympia.
I know.
So they gave me the name before I made it to the Olympia. So, it's fitting for some guys. I can't be the Prodigy all my life. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, that title, I'm already gave up that title. They can have it.
Okay.
Because I'm not in Prodigy mode anymore. I'm about to be 40. I'm about to be a mature man.
You're not even 40. What do you mean? You're young.
Yeah, but I'm still a mature man. I'm not a Prodigy anymore. Everybody knows I'm on the scene. Everybody knows I'm established. So, I can take other people having that name. Maybe more people want to start calling me Soul Brother Number 1, like Flex started calling me back in the day.
Well, I think first we got to call you the 2-time Mr. Olympia champion. Before that, that's the nickname we want to have first.
Yeah. I don't care, man. Whatever nicknames is good with me. I'm a fair guy. I like to have fun with the names, whatever. But one thing I will not do is name myself.
Last thing, we have so many questions. Can you look at the video? This is Murat. This is an NPC men's physique guy who won his class in Sweden, I think it was. You got to rate this physique. We're going to show it on the screen, guys, so you can see. What do you see, Brandon? What does he need to improve on, and what's good on his body?
All right, let me go through this real quick. I need a quick moment of silence here. I'm not gonna even play it at normal speed just so I can go back and forth.
Yeah.
All right, now what I'm seeing, man, what I'm seeing is a very complete physique. The shoulders, man, I see the shoulders is definitely a nice strong point, but the pecs are not lacking, which is very important. Normally, is and or he's got the waist, he's got the V taper with the lat low insertions. You know, I'm looking at his the back. I mean, I don't see him really missing anything. You said physique, right?
Yeah, this men's physique, so we don't talk about the legs.
But he even has legs, good leg separation. I mean, his legs are not bad. You can tell he actually does train some legs a little bit. But man, yeah, this kid is definitely how old is he?
And in his early 20s.
Early 20s, yeah. Well, he's definitely on a good route. Good smile. Looks like he knows how to pose.
Oh, fantastic pose, yeah.
Yeah, the color is great. He only critique is just be careful with those obliques. We don't want those too thick. But besides that, man, I mean, it's beautiful. I don't see any criticism. The only thing left to see is him compared to other guys. That's it.
And that's exactly, before we go, that's exactly his crit, because I know him and he's been told to be careful with the oblique. The way you broke it down there without knowing anything, when you retire, I really hope you get into the comment, like that we have guys like you that can, because as you know, there's a lot of commentators now who's either very negative or they don't really, I don't know what's going on. Is that something you would be part of when you retire, to give back, to learn, to give, because this insight you have, no one knows it better than you guys as legends, that no one can break down the physique better than you guys.
Yeah, I mean, wherever I can contribute in the sport of bodybuilding, giving back in certain areas, I mean, I'm down for that. No doubt. So if anybody wants to give me a job, to critique or talk about bodybuilding, I'm good with that, though. I mean, even judging, I've done some test judging in the past, got some perfect scores on test judging, so apparently I somewhat know what I'm doing. So I didn't know if I knew what I was doing, but I found out I somewhat know what I'm doing. So yeah, I definitely like to be involved in the sport when I'm not even competing. I mean, I love giving back. I love encouraging competitors, and I love seeing new blood, with talent, making sure they don't get discouraged, making sure they know it's not going to be an easy process. They're going to be tested, let them know the real.
Thank you very much for your time. Safe trip to Kuwait, even though you're obviously traveling a little bit before. And before we go, Brandon, I know you're rocking that gorilla wear tight t-shirt. Can you show us a front double with your 205 pounds?
205-pound front double bicep.
205 pounds coming right at you. Thank you very much for your time, Brandon.
All right, bro. Always good talking to you. Much success to your channel, man. Thanks for having me on.
Bye-bye.